Rudolf Hoss was an infamous German military personnel and a member of the Nazi Party in Germany. Between 1940 and 1945, he served as a key commander of the concentration camps at Auschwitz. During this time, almost 2,500,000 inmates were persecuted in the camps. To top it off, they were subjected to extreme torture and deplorable conditions. Höss served during the First World War, and immediately after the war ended, he found himself among a group of conservative professionals. He enjoyed the traditional way of life and supported several views that were anti-humanitarian and racist. Because of the same reason, he was also arrested by the German police. This was much before the Nazi Party gained popularity between 1923 and 1925. After being freed, it was only obvious that Höss would eventually join the Nazi Party, and that is exactly what he did. Thanks to his straightforward and tactical remarks, he was also a popular member of the SS. During the early 1930s, he was introduced as military personnel for his first concentration camp, namely the one on Dachau. Owing to his staggering success with the Dachau camp, he was soon moved to the Auschwitz concentration camp. At Auschwitz, he was popular for his tactical ways of penalizing inmates. It was also here where came up with an extremely efficient way of mass incarceration through gassing followed by a mass cremation. Thanks to these devious tactics, he was soon propped as a deputy inspector who could oversee all the German concentration camps. However, this was only in 1945, shortly after which the war ended. In this video, we will learn more about Höss, his military milestones, and his impending death. As always, if you want more videos as this one, help this channel with your likes and comments. Early life and career. Höss had enjoyed moderately decent family life. He was from a small town called Baden-Baden, where he was born in 1901. His family practiced Catholicism and his father was a local priest at their town church. Even though he had two younger siblings, Höss often felt lonely and typically interacted with adults. Before joining the priesthood, Höss' father served in the German military while also operating a successful business for common beverages, like tea and coffee. Because of the army exposure, Höss was brought up with strict moral and religious principles. Given these ideals, he was naturally attracted to serving in the military when the First World War commenced. Even though he was barely 14, Höss decided to work at the nearby military hospital. When he was 15, he joined the German troops to fight the Ottoman army at Baghdad and Palestine. This was also the time when he had first-hand exposure to the American genocide. When the army was halting in Turkey, he was promoted to the role of a sergeant, and by the time he was 17, Höss had already gained fame as the youngest officer, non-commissioned, to have served the German army. During the First World War, he suffered severe wounds thrice and even experienced malaria. However, nothing to deter or dampen his indomitable spirit. Given these feats, he received several awards including the Iron Cross and Crescent among others. Later years. Following the iconic armistice, Höss managed to complete his education at a secondary level. At this time, he also joined a couple of paramilitary groups at the national level. Due to his long-standing hatred for the Jews, he also participated with the German troops to attack the Polish folks during the upheaval of Ruhr and nearby regions. In 1922, he first heard Adolf Hitler speaking and was immediately influenced by it. Naturally, he joined the Nazi Party after renouncing every other affiliation with Catholicism. Within a year of joining the party, Höss became notorious for sudden and tactical atrocities on the minorities. He, along with another member of the Nazi Party, attacked an influential school teacher after being commanded by Martin Bormann, who later rose to the ranks as Hitler's secretary. Following this incident, he committed several other acts of terror because of which he was imprisoned several times. Höss was extremely influenced by the military personnel Heinrich Himmler and considered him to be godly. According to some sources, he admired the man even more than the Führer. Because of his tactical skills and past military experience, Höss didn't have to wait long to be assigned to the concentration camps at Dachau. Here, he served the role of the block leader and was also counseled by Theodor Eicke, who completely revamped the concentration camp unit of the Nazis. By 1938, Höss received several decorations and promotions, the latest one being the promotion as the SS captain. After the Germans invaded Poland in 1939, he also participated in the Waffen-SS squad. He was exceptionally qualified and time and again recommended by mentors and preceding officers for promotions. With that said, the biggest and most notable military success for Höss was at the Auschwitz military camps. During his initial days, he was ordered to a solid transition camp that could house at least 10,000 inmates from the nearby ghettos. The first few inmates here were prisoners of the Polish and Soviet War. It included both peasants, the average middle class, as well as intellectual professionals. In 1941, He was ordered by Himmler to execute the final solution in the concentration camp. To make the job successful, he started to test and experiment with multiple mass murder tactics starting in September 1941. Because of that, Auschwitz became one of the notorious and cruelest concentration camps as well as one of the most powerful symbols of the Holocaust. As per Hoss statements, during a standard operation at least 2 or 3 trains would arrive with 6,000 to 7,000 inmates. After that point, the prisoners were checked for their fitness. If deemed fit, they would be forced to work as a labor, and if deemed unfit, they would be incarcerated in the gas chambers. Initially, the gas chamber was as small as bunkers and was discreetly located in the woods. However, over time, the Nazis wanted to emphasize a statement and thus built 4 large camps within the central city streets of Birkenau. Bottom line. 2 years after the war ended, Hoss was convicted as a war prisoner for the atrocities he committed. At this time, he also received a death sentence in the Warsaw Court, Poland. Finally, he was hanged on 16th of April 1947 in Auschwitz itself. To end this video, remember, if you want more videos as this one, help this channel with your likes and comments.